Ah, the DS, the Nintendo DS. Probably one of the most popular video game consoles next to the PlayStation 2. It's the year 2011, so there's no real like anniversaries going on for the Nintendo DS that would be like, OMG, 10 years? That's not until the, 2014 or something like that. No. This time around, I wanted to kind of take a look at the Nintendo DS from a kind of retrospective look. Next month, the Nintendo 3DS comes out, which is supposed to be this awesome 3D system that you can see 3D effects without the use of glasses. But they're going to release a successor to the Nintendo DS, and as such, I kind of wanted to go and just take a look at the original DS. Kind of look at some of the games that came out through all 7 years that the system was out, and just go back a little bit to the year 2004 and have a little bit of a retrospective.
Nintendo first showed off the Nintendo DS at the E3 2004 Expo. Here it was shown in prototype form, which was never actually released for commercial sale in this form, but they showed off all the hardware designs and all the different things the DS could do. It wasn't until 2 months later in July that finally the final model of the DS was shown. This is what's affectionately known as the DS Fat. This version was eventually released in November of 2004 and was sold for $150. The DS became very successfi, and Nintendo eventually released a slimmer, lighter version called the Nintendo DS Lite. Following that, Nintendo released the DSi, which was exactly just like the DS Lite, except it featured 2 cameras in the front and back. And last year, Nintendo released the DSi XL, which is literally a giant version of the DSi. No, seriously. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really into the Nintendo DS when it first came out. I already had a PSP, and to be honest, that was quite fine with me. I was kind of a Sony fanboy at the time, but it wasn't until I finally played Super Mario DS, and I drew a picture of myself, as you see right there, that I actually was really impressed by it. I mean, graphically, it wasn't as good as PSP, but that wasn't the point. The system was meant to be a fun system, something that you can just take out when you're bored and just start, playing without needing to worry about saving or how complicated something was or anything like that. And that's very rare to be found. But even playing Super Mario DS, it didn't really sell me on the DS. It wasn't until one special game. That game was Mario Kart DS. When I first played it at a demo station at a GameStop or something, I was blown away at how much fun it was. I had truly forgotten how fun Nintendo games were. And I was so happy that I played this game that I went ahead and I bought a DS. A few months later, of course. And to be honest, I'm glad I did, because buying a Nintendo DS opened the doors to so many games that I really can't even mention all of them here. There are seriously such a large library of video games on that system that are amazing. I mean, sure, there's some really bad games like Babies or Pets 2, but we can overlook those, of course.
So like I said, that's just a handful of titles. There was a ton of other games that came out, like the 5 Phoenix Wright games that came out, with a 6th one coming out this year. There's the Brain Age games that transform non-gamers into gamers. I mean, it was a game that tested your brain capacity. How many of those games exist? Only on Nintendo DS. Well, now there's a couple more. But at the time, only on Nintendo DS. So, yeah, we have the Nintendo 3DS coming out, and all these new systems are coming out. Even Sony is rolling out a next-gen portable system that's supposed to have 3G and all that good stuff. But, the good thing is that these game systems will always be out. I mean, sure, we have now awesome 3D without glasses abilities and all that good stuff. But you know what? You can only play Nintendo DS games on the Nintendo DS. Well, you could also play it on the Nintendo 3DS because it's backwards compatible. And you could probably download them illegally off the internet. So I guess you could play them without the Nintendo DS.